coming in off a nice 2-0 Thursday to head into the weekend. Had a big-time dog last night with Washington, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks number kept going against us. Injuries kept going against us, but still, the pitching edge was too much. Zach Allen gets it done for us. So 2-0 night last night, John. That puts us in a good spot heading into the weekend. Back up to even money on the week, and hopefully we can get into the green here tonight and tomorrow. It's a pretty tough card today, so we'll see how much opens up throughout the weekend. Sometimes, as you guys know, if you guys tune in every day, when we get reads on a series, get reads on matchups, that carries throughout the series. So we'll see if that changes. Right now, just one bet out so far for how to beat the bookie members. John, got to be feeling pretty good after 2-0 night.
Yeah, as long as my heart could just withstand the pressure here. Nationals with a 9-1 lead wanted to make yesterday. That's a 165 dog. You don't want to lose that game with a 9-1 lead taking plus. You don't want to lose any game you have a 9-1 lead, but much less a plus 165 dog. We keep talking about it. We have ratings, and that's how you make your bets. And that's why we're coming right back with the Nationals again today. They're just underrated. Mm-hmm. This is 14-3 their last 17 home games. They're playing phenomenal baseball right now. We'll talk more about them as we go through it. And by the same token, sharp guys just keep betting the Padres every single day. We just keep betting against them every single day because there's value there. And we'll talk more about that one also. But, yeah, a nice 2-for-2 day yesterday. We're looking to keep the pressure on over the weekend. Let's make it happen, Ben.
Yeah, the Nationals team made us work for it. They're, I believe it's bottom 5 here, 22 blown saves on the season. We've had some really bad beats with that bullpen, so I thought we would do for another. They hold on. That's this first game on the card. Phillies at Washington. And it's a little bit here of revenge factor. Big time for Washington. Lorenzen on the bump. Faces him earlier this week. Throws his first career no-hitter and his second start with the Phillies. He's been dominant. He's on a crazy tear right now. 5-1, 1.11 since the start of July. He did throw 124 pitches in the no-hitter. And as you guys know, if you guys have been tuning in with Valdez and Herman, we were looking to go against them, fade him in that spot afterwards. Just usually you extend your arm more than you like to go. And the Dawn going here for Washington. Not necessarily a pitcher you want it back. Last time out, 2 runs in 3 innings versus Oakland. Prior to that, though, did have a quality start for Cincinnati. As far as these two teams, you have Philly, who snaps a 3-game losing streak. They got a win in the back end of the split there with Toronto. And Washington gets the win last night against Boston. Just getting it done at home right now. 14-3 their last 17 home games for a team who was the worst home team in the National League all season long. These last couple of weeks, they've really been getting it done at home. Granted, they've had a little bit of easier competition, sweep over Oakland and such like that. But nonetheless, 14-3 at home. Big price for a home dog with a revenge factor here. It'd be Nats or no one, John.
Yeah, we're on the Nats. This is all one bet, guys, right off the top. So if you only tune in for the bets, you can shut it down after this. This is why you got to be a member, guys. There'll be more stuff added as the day goes on, as we get lineups and the line changes. But in this game, Lorenzen, as Ben said, he's coming off 124 pitch no-hitter. What Philly did was now they've given him 8 days rest because he went so many pitches. But that still takes you out of your routine. Not only are you going to take Lorenzen out of his pitch every 5th day routine, Philly's just not scoring. Mm-hmm. They come up the other day with 9 runs at Toronto to win 9-4. But they had scored 2 runs in the 3 losses before that, hitting just 220 their last 4 games. On the other hand, Nats, they're just getting it. Look, Nats are 19-13 since the All-Star break. So it's not just they're winning at home. They're playing their best ball of the season. Now 5 of 6 on this homestand, scoring 6.5 runs a game, hitting 296. As Ben said, they're coming off. First of all, they're coming off that big W yesterday over the Red Sox. And they're coming off that no-hitter. They'll try to make Lorenzen pay for that. Now, there's still a tremendous pitching mismatch here. Lorenzen over Adon. But the hitting, got to give it to the Nats. Just a huge number. We took plus 174, 1 unit. This game now is down to the best you can take is plus 155. So the Sharps are on the same side as us with the Nats. We get the Nats. That's our one bet so far today.
Yeah, Nats been a live dog all season long. They're still top 5 in batting average. Like you said, the offense is there. You know the bats are going to show up. It's just that shaky bullpen. What are you going to get in the backstretch? We'll see. The next matchup we have, tough one to go against Atlanta at any point in time. Giants at Atlanta. Giants coming off a loss to the Braves. They went 2-4 on the homestand. They were scoring just 2.83 runs per game. 3-8 their last 11, 1-9 their last 10 on the road. Right now, they're in that second wild card spot. This NL wild card race is going to get tight. You have Cincinnati, Chicago, Miami all tied up there for that third spot. You have Arizona just sitting one game behind them, and Giants, they have a 1.5 game lead on those three teams. So we'll see what San Francisco does here. They need at least one win here in Atlanta to try to keep their hopes and have a spot at the end of the weekend. Cobb, last two starts, been miserable. 11 runs, 16 hits, and 9 2/3. Strider, he's coming off a nice start against the Mets with 7 shutout innings. Prior to that, was getting roughed up for 9 runs off 15 hits. This is it's tough to go against Atlanta. It really just comes down to that. Cobb, he has been worse on the road all season long. He's pitching his worst baseball of the season right now. Strider does get the pitching edge, but he's a guy who's worse at home. 4.16 ERA at home. It's not lights out stuff. Tempting to go here with Giants, who are a wild card team, but just can't pull the trigger here. Not hitting, not winning on the road. Cobb pitching his worst ball of the year. Have to stay away. I would say Atlanta or nothing here.
Yeah, can't do this. Look, this is an overlay. 220, it's just an overlay over San Fran, but San Fran just not playing well, not scoring. Again, 3-8 their last 11, 1-9 their last 10 road games. And Atlanta right now, they're a machine. Crushed the Yankees by a combined 18-3. They've won 6 of their last 7, scoring 8.29 runs a game, hitting .291, hitting against the Giant team that can't hit their way out of a paper bag. 24 and scoring 2.83 runs a game in that 6-game homestand. So a team that's not hitting against a team that's crushing the ball. Braves it, and now you can throw the Dodgers in there. Dodgers on fire. We'll talk more about them. But tough to buck those teams unless you get somebody that's really going real well. Cobb is not. His last couple of outings, not good. Not good on the road all year. At home, maybe something different. Just can't buck this spot here. Big overlay. Can't take San Fran, though.
Now we have Mets at St. Louis. Mets get it done last night. They've won 3 of the last 4 in St. Louis now. They've won 4 of their last 5, scoring 6 runs per game. Cardinals 2-2 on the homestand, scoring under 4 runs per game. And with the Nats' latest run here, Cardinals now the worst home team in the National League. Gross pitching matchup. Lucchesi versus Thompson. Lucchesi had a handful of outings earlier in the season. One really good start in the debut, and then after that just kind of got roughed up a little bit. First appearance since his May now. And Thompson, last 2 outings, he's been solid. One of them was a start. He's allowed 2 runs in 8 innings, 13 Ks, 1 walk, and has been better at home this season. 8 relief outings, 1 start. Just a gross matchup, gross pitching matchup. Hard to really say you have an edge here on either side. I mean, with this pitching matchup, you don't really know what you're going to get. This would be a lean to the Mets and just 2 dead teams. You're taking plus money. I'll give Thompson a slight edge just because he has more big league outings recently. But even still, he's a guy who's not going to go much further than 4 innings. You're going to be putting a lot of dependencies on the Cardinals bullpen. Just talked about the Nationals bullpen, how much they blow games. Cardinals are the worst bullpen in the MLB. They blow more leads than any team in the league. So really tough game to wrap my head around. This would be Mets or nobody, but I'm staying dead away from this one.
Yeah, Thompson's gone 4 innings in his last 2 outings. One was a start, one was as the reliever. So even if they stretch him out to 5 innings, you can still get a look at that bullpen for another 4 innings. 2 teams that are dead. They were playoff hopeful teams, now out of it. Just Mets playing a little bit better right now. Don't know how much of a pitching edge I can give Thompson, although he's looked really good his last couple of outings. High number for 2 dead teams. Could only be the short. This one doesn't necessarily mean I'm on this team. St. Louis just put another couple of guys on the IL yesterday. Gorman and Nutbar. Anyway, those guys will be out, but they're lefties. They probably would not have been in the lineup against Lucchesi anyway. Pair of lefties going. Big number. Mets and nobody. We'll look what the lineups and the line says later on in the day.
And it's D-backs at San Diego. D-backs get it done for us in a low-scoring one last night. They win that one 3-1. They've now won 5 of 6. They're kind of turning things back around. 1 game back of that wild card spot. Yesterday, they were plus 310 to make the playoffs. They're now down to plus 230 to make the playoffs for anyone looking at future prices. Padres, 2-2 on the homestand, 3-8 their last 11, not getting it done. Fat versus Lugo. Lugo gets the pitching edge, just nothing too drastic. Fat in August, he's been a bit better than he was earlier this year, 0-2, 4.15. He is coming off a start against the Padres, 3 runs in 5 2/3. They get a win there. And then Lugo, last time out versus Arizona, 2 runs in 5 innings. His start back in April was a quality start versus them. Pitching edge, sure, to Lugo. Not the way this number is looking, though. I mean, this has got to be a lean to Arizona. Really big price. We talked about it day in, day out. They keep betting San Diego. They keep over-evaluating San Diego on the opening lines. This Padres team just not getting it done. 3-8 their last 11. This is Arizona or nobody. Got to see what's going on, though, with the lineups on this one. Marte and Gurriel both sat last night.
They both sat last night. We'll see what's up with them. But this, again, Arizona or nobody. As Ben said, and we tell you guys every day, shops are just overvaluing San Diego. We've been against San Diego just about every day since the start of the Orioles series. And we'll be against them again today, depending on the line and the lineups. They're just not that good. They're the only team that has not 4 games in a row this year. That should tell you all you need to know about this team, just not getting it done consistently. They may come with that game with 8, 10, 12 runs. They're not consistent enough. Lugo, not great as last time out, 2 runs over 5 innings, but absolutely smashed the time before that against the Dodgers. Another time we were against Lugo and the Dodgers in that day. If you guys remember, I think we were down to 4-0 or 5-0 Ben, and then we put 12 unanswered on them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that against Lugo. So we'll be on Arizona today. Just looking for the lineups with Marte and Gurriel and what the line is by then. But Arizona or nobody.
And this last NL matchup, Miami at LA. Marlins, they split 3-3 in the homestand. They dropped the last 2 to the Astros there. Dodgers coming off a 1-0 win last night against Milwaukee. That makes it 11 in a row for them now. 15 of their last 16. Absolutely red hot. MLB best, 41-20 at home. Martinez didn't play last night. Waiting to see what's up with him. This Dodgers team just getting it done. Can Sandy be the one to put a stop on the road here? We'll see. Sandy has been great his last 4 starts, going really deep into games too. He is in his last 4 starts, 2 of them complete games. One of them went 8 innings, the other one 7 innings. So getting really solid depth out of him. We'll see if that continues. Last year against the Dodgers, one time really roughed up at LA, but the start in Miami did have a complete game. And then Gonsolin, they won all 3 of his August starts, but not necessarily because of him. More so this Dodgers team just getting it done. He's 3-0, 4.24. Last time out was a quality start, 1 run in 6 innings. Pitching edge goes to Sandy, and the Sharps are betting it for that reason. They pushed this number down. Dodgers, they did win 6 of 7 meetings last year. Want to back Sandy, want to go against this LA team, but this number's come down way too low now. It just takes away all the appeal from it. The opening price, I could see they maybe want to go against the hottest team in baseball with one of the better pitchers who might be able to just show up with a complete game tonight, but can't do it. Can't go with Sandy. Cannot at this price. They already took it away. At this point, I would even say it's Dodgers or nothing. They're 1-11 in a row. It's a fairly cheap price. Sandy got smoked for him last year at 8 runs. He's coming off a complete game. Maybe he doesn't have as much left in the arm tonight. Dodgers are nothing for me in this one at this price.
Yeah, just to show you guys where it's gone. This was 170. Dodgers minus 170 on the opener, on the overnight. This game now is down to as low as 130. That's a tremendous move.
Mm-hmm.
That's 111 straight. And granted, Sandy looks like the Cy Young winner from last year. As Ben said, 3 of his last 4 games have been dominating. 2 complete games and 8 innings of shutout baseball, only to have Robinson, the closer, lose that game. But anyway, tremendous pitching advantage for Sandy here. But do you want to buck the team that's won 11 straight? They won 6 or 7 meetings last year. They beat Sandy up at Dodger Stadium last year. JD Martinez, questionable, didn't play last night. We'll see if they give anybody else a night off. The team is red hot. They gave Will Smith, the catcher, off last night. That tells me he'll be back in the lineup today. Too low. If there was any value, it was that overnight line. Don't want to be on Miami. Besides everything else, as good as Dodgers are at home, now the best road team in the NL. Miami, they've lost, what we got here? 14 of their last 17 road games. Just not enough for me to want to back Sandy in this one.
And we have a nice little rivalry matchup. Red Sox at Yankees. Maybe this gives the Yankees something to get up for this game, but Boston still much more in the wild card race. There's no pitcher yet listed for the Yankees. Can't really back them, whoever it is. Bayo's been terrific against them. He's been brutal lately. 1-2, 5.93 last 5 starts. But if you're a Red Sox fan, you got to love seeing a young up-and-coming ace just dominating the Yankees early in his career. I mean, he can't really last for much more. 4 career starts, 1-2, 1.44 ERA. 2 starts this year, 3 runs in 14 innings. He's been terrific. We'll wait to see who put the Yankees in the box. Right now, you're looking at a cheap favorite price on a soft opening number. And if it stays at that range, would be Red Sox here in this game.
Yeah, got to see who the pitcher is for the Yankees. Got to see what the line the real lines pop up as just no interest in the Yankees right now. I mean, since that tremendous meltdown in Miami where they allow the Marlins to pull that game out in the ninth inning, they go to Atlanta. They limp it to Atlanta. Now they've got no legs left as Atlanta just decapitates them. Their season's over. I think they know it. You got Cortez on the IL. Rizzo's still on there, so a pitcher, a hitter, nothing left. Do they get up for this rivalry? We'll see. We'll see who the pitcher is and what the line is. Don't want the Yankees. Got to be honest with you. Don't want the Red Sox either, though. On the road, just a different team. They don't hit the way they hit in Fenway, and Bayo has been not as good as he was earlier in the year.
Then we have the doubleheader: Tigers at Cleveland. Very rarely on a doubleheader do I have a read on both games, and it's opposite teams. Usually it's, one side or the other. I'm looking for the best game to get that team in. This time, I like Cleveland game 1. I like Detroit game 2. You have Tigers coming in off a loss to Minnesota. After a win against Minnesota. They went 2-3 on that trip there. And then Cleveland, they come back here. Lost against Cincy. They went 2-3 on that trip. You have Tigers who have won 4 of 6 meetings this year. Skewball versus Williams. How about Williams? Top number 4 prospect in baseball, was top prospect for Cleveland. Gets called up earlier this year. And the last 2 starts just really looking like it. 1 run, 12 innings, 22 Ks, 1 walk against a couple of AL East teams, Tampa Bay and Toronto. So getting it done against some of the top of the AL. And then you have Skewball, who we talked about yesterday before that game got postponed, roughed up his last time out at Boston, and then just night and day home and away splits in just 6 starts so far. And 3 starts on the road, 0-2, 9.64. Williams gets the pitching edge. Cleveland needs wins here. Game 1 read would be to him. And then the game 2 matchups, Manning versus Curry. Manning the opposite. He's been really solid on the road this year for Detroit.
Yeah. Yesterday we talked about this game. Hold on one second. Just KC's lineup coming in. We got that KC Cubby lineup. That's actually an afternoon game. We'll get there shortly. But yesterday's game rained out. So we were looking at the Screwball Curry matchup, and the shops were unloading on Detroit. This game had run up to $1.35. We were going to be on Cleveland. They switched the matchups now, so it'll be Williams against Screwball. They were betting Screwball yesterday. Right now, the line is sticking around right around that 118 number. But this Williams, after a little not so great first couple of outings, he's buckled in. I mean, this kid looked dominating in these last couple of starts. So you got to give me Cleveland and nobody. But again, these doubleheaders, now we're going to watch for lineups. Who's going to sit what game? You got a lefty pitching Screwball in the first game. You can almost bet Jimenez will sit out the first game, the lefty. So we'll look for the lineups. We'll see where the line goes for this doubleheader. And then more of the same for me. A lot of how that first game is played will carry over to game 2. Who goes deeper in the bullpen? You're going to need bullpen for that second game much more than the first. So I'll leave my options open. Look at the lineups and look what the line says later in the day.
And then we have a fun AL West matchup, Mariners at Houston. Mariners right now, half game back of Toronto for that final wild card spot. 3.5 games back of the Astros, both in the division and in the wild card as well. Seattle, they won 3 in a row now. They win the last 3 against Kansas City. They had a little 3-game losing streak before that, 11-3 their last 14. Then you have Houston here, who comes off a pair of wins against Miami. They're 7-3 their last 10. Seattle's had some success lately in the matchup. They've won 5 of the last 6 meetings. You have this Houston team who knocked them out in the playoffs last year. Obviously, a little bit of revenge factor. Can you go against France? I mean, Valdez was Mr. Consistent, but France might be taking the name from him. 7-0, 1.85 since the back end of June, coming off a quality start versus the Angels. He had 5 shutout innings versus the Mariners back in May. And then Miller, last 2 starts, he's been decent. 3 runs, 2 earned, and 10 2/3. Did have 6 shutout innings versus Houston back in May. That's when he started his career with a terrific stretch. Be a lean to Seattle here, just with this price. They look at the matchup history. Obviously, they need wins here as far as catching in the wild card. They've been playing good ball. Tough to go against France. I mean, he really might be the number 2 of this team right now. Obviously, Valdez has the track record more so, definitely. But what France has put on the last 2 months is very impressive. Tough to buck that. Seattle or nobody, but I'm not looking to go against France.
No, neither am I. And Valdez, even though he's got a no-hitter, a couple more bad outings in France, a couple more good ones, France might be your number 1. 7-0, 1.85 ERA, as Ben said, and we talked about it. When Acridi came back, they messed with France. They put him in the bullpen, and he followed Urquidy in that game against the Yankees. You don't mess with something the way this kid's pitching right now. But he stayed on track. He's right on track. Big pitching advantage for France. Miller, nice little start to the year, but if he's their fourth best pitcher for Seattle, and he's not so good on the road. 5.15 ERA, 7 road starts. Mariners long series in KC. They traveled. The Astros had the day off. Everything points to the Astros. Numbers a little high, but that's why I can't take Seattle. All the things I just mentioned.
Then we have Rays at Angels, and this just looks like a cheap price for one of the best teams in baseball. Granted, Rays have had a lot of distractions, a lot of drama, a lot of injuries. You name it, they've had it. Still pulling through, though. 2-3 against San Francisco, 7-3 their last 10. Meanwhile, this Angels team, they finally get a win there against Texas, 4-11 their last 15, hitting just 176 this week. Rays, they did pull off 5-7 meetings last year. Angels won 2-3 in LA. Ramirez versus Anderson. Anderson roughed up his last time out by the Astros for 7 runs. Ramirez going to be in an opener. He's been brutal last 2 outings, 5 runs and 4 1/3. No real pitching edge there for Tampa Bay. I'll even give it slightly to Anderson. He hasn't been good lately. But this Angels team just at a PK against one of the best teams in baseball, I can't make it that price. I mean, they're just not playing good enough baseball for it to be warranted. Tampa Bay still has a chance to go make a division run. Obviously, they still have a chance to win the East. This is Rays or nobody. I'm not going to make it too difficult here. Forget the pitching matchup. Just 2 teams going 2 different directions. One with something to play for, one dead in the water. Give me Tampa Bay here at a cheap price.
I see what Ben's saying. I just don't, as he mentioned, Tampa Bay, one of the best teams in baseball. I just don't make them one of the best teams in baseball any longer. Missing Franco, a lesser injury. Margot goes on the IL, and a huge one. McClanahan now. That's the ace of their staff. Sorry, especially on the road. At home, still one of the better teams at home, but on the road, just an average team. Angels playing horrible. We've been saying this since before the trade deadline. Trade Ohtani. Get something for him. You're not going anywhere, and they certainly aren't. The slump that they're in right now, 4-11 in their last 15, batting 176 this week. It's Tampa Bay or nobody, but I don't see an edge for Tampa Bay on the road. So I'm off this one at the present line.
Then it's Orioles at Oakland, Gibson versus Medina. Orioles 3-3 on this trip right now. Still AL best, 38-24 on the road. Oakland, they get a win there at St. Louis. Snaps a 5-game skid. Still the worst home team in baseball. One of the best road teams versus the worst home team. Really makes it tough to have any interest in Oakland here. They did win 3 of 4 meetings in Oakland last year. Gibson for Baltimore. He was crushed last time out. 9 runs, 12 hits, 3 homers, and 5 1/3. Prior to that, had 4 straight quality starts. And with a vet like this, bit different. They'll let him go. They'll let him eat up the inning. When you're getting roughed up like that, oftentimes younger pitchers, they'll pull them out, not going to mess with the confidence too much. Guy like Gibson, they say, hey, we already lost this game. Go save our bullpen some innings and stay out there. So one of those kind of situations. We'll see if he has his bounce back here against Oakland. Can ask for a better start next. Medina was decent last time out. 1 run in 4 innings versus Washington. Prior to that, roughed up a bit. This is a weird game. The price, you might want to be leaning to the home dog here in Oakland a little bit. They won 3 of 4 last year, but this is a chance for Baltimore to pull away with the division. Got to take advantage of having some matchups against the worst team in baseball. If you're Gibson, got to take advantage of having the worst team in baseball to get back on track as well. So Orioles, slightest of leans here. Not going to lay this price with them, but I have no interest in the Oakland here.
Yeah, Orioles, they're coming off 2 straight losses. They're not hitting. Orioles are just not hitting right now. 3-3 on this trip, but hitting just 207. As I said, lose the last 2 at San Diego. And last year came to Oakland and lost 3 of 4. So you're not going to have that element of surprise today. Baltimore will not come in there sleepwalking or looking ahead. They'll come in there looking for a W. Gibson got crushed his last time out. Expect him to be better. No way do I want Oakland. You've got the best road team in the AL playing the worst home team in Major League Baseball. I even make the game a couple of pennies higher. Obviously, I'm not suggesting go lay this price with you. I want nothing to do with the A's here.
Then we have Royals at the Cubbies. This is the afternoon game. And looking at the over in this spot for me, I mean, this Royals team, the bats are going right now. They went 2-4 in the homestand, scoring 6.67 runs per game, hitting almost 350. Granted, some of that was just from 2 really big games, but nonetheless, they're putting up runs right now. The pitching not getting it done as much. And then you have this Cubbies team who comes off a really intense series with the White Sox. You have Robert with the go-ahead home run in game 1, and in game 2, Morel walks it off for the Cubbies. They won 3 of 5, hitting just 208 this week. Reagan's versus Tejon. Now, Tejon really cracked last time out. 8 runs in 3 innings versus the Jays. Prior to that was dominant, 5-0, 2.17 in 6 starts. And then Reagan's, he was roughed up his last time out as well by St. Louis, 4 runs in 5 innings. Prior to that, he had a pair of quality starts. So 2 pitchers who were going well, get roughed up their last time out. We'll see if they have a bounce back outing here. Royals offense going well, just not getting any pitching. This is a lean to the over with this matchup. We'll see if the runs come. And much like we've talked about with some of these teams, just comes down to it. Needing wins and not in the race at all. Kansas City, second worst team in baseball. Cubbies in that 3-way tie right now with Miami and the Cincy for that final wild card spot. Can't go against a Friday day game. Cubbies at home here needing wins. This would be Cubs or nobody. Not looking to lay this price. See more value in the over, but have no interest in KC in this matchup.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. And the stats are saying bet KC. I mean, KC ripping the cover off the ball, 347. Cubbies batting just 208 as they've won 3 of 5, but batting just 208 this week. I'll give Tejon the pitching edge, but still just a huge number. But it's a huge number because, look, KC, although much improved over the last few weeks, playing even the games that they're losing, they're playing tougher ball. They're scoring runs. Bobby Witt Jr. is showing that he's a star, a budding star in the major leagues. Cubbies, they got to get back on track. Just a couple of weeks ago, Cubs were the hottest team in baseball, destroying the baseball. And we'll see if they can get back to that. They need wins as they're right in the pennant rate of the wild card chase. So I'm going to lay off this one. Just not enough value. Unless this game is to go higher, the only way I'd be interested in KC.
Then we have another matchup with a couple of wild card teams in it right now. We have Cincinnati, who's part of that 3-way tie in the NL race, and then Toronto, who's only just a half game up on Seattle, holding on to that final spot. Pitching matchup, I mean, edge is clear as day here to Barrios. Barrios versus Kennedy. Kennedy only 1 start this year, had a relief outing here in August through 2 shutout innings versus Pittsburgh. Barrios gave up 6 runs his last time out. Prior to that was 1-0, 3.24 in 4 prior starts. This Cincy team, what are you going to get out of them? I mean, they just got cold at the wrong time. They do take 2 of 3 there against Cleveland. They're in this midst of this race right now. Blue Jays, they won 2 of 3 meetings last year. They dropped 4 of 6, not playing the best baseball. Little bit of appeal here in the home dog. Question is, do you want to back Kennedy, with Barrios having the pitching edge? Kennedy, decent in the minors this season, 4-2, 3.52 in 12 starts. Only 1 start this year in the bigs, was roughed up, and then that relief outing. This would be the home dog or nothing. Maybe need a bit more on the price. Got to see lineups, of course. Chapman questionable. We'll see what's going on with him. But this is a tough game all around. Cincinnati or nobody. Couple of teams needing wins, not getting them right now.
Yeah, Barrios got hit hard his last time out, but just got to give him the big pitching advantage over Kennedy. Kennedy's only had 2 outings this year. Prior to that, his last cup of coffee in Major Leagues was 2018. So Reds starting to turn around a little bit. Toronto's lost 4 or 6. 2 teams that needed for wild card came up a little bit of a high number. They took some money at plus 138. Game now to about plus 130. So the Sharps on the home dog short. Just not enough of a pitcher there. Kennedy for me to want to buck Barrios. If I knew Chapman was out, he's missed the last couple of games. If I knew he was going to be out, would solidify my decision with Cincy, but he's still questionable. So number was a little bit high. Didn't want the inexperienced pitcher against Barrios, not knowing Chapman was out. So we stayed off this one.
And it's Brewers at Texas. Brewers getting swept by the Dodgers. They scored just 4 runs, hitting 185 this week. And then you have this Texas team who got blanked by the Angels on Wednesday, but they did win 2 of 3 in the series. They're 12-3 their last 15. AL best, 42-21 at home. Woodruff versus Heaney. Woodruff, only a handful of starts back in April, comes back around now. Second start back, quality start. He's been solid since coming back. Usually takes a few under the belt before you start getting back into rhythm. And then you have Heaney going, who got pulled very early last time out. It wasn't even injury-based. In his last time out at San Francisco, 1 run and 1 1/3. It was bases loaded. They go to the pen super early. They do get out of the jam. They end up winning the game. So tip the cap to Bruce Bochy. Pulled his pitcher early, and it panned out. Should have a fresh arm. Prior to that was 11 2/3 shutout baseball. This is a slightest of leans to Milwaukee. I give Woodruff the pitching edge, but just not enough to make up for the offensive discrepancies here. Brewers, one of your worst offensive teams. Texas, your second best offense in baseball. Best AL home team. Can't pull the trigger here on Woodruff. Going to be interesting to see, too, with Woodruff down the stretch of the season. If he can continue to get rhythm, look like the pitcher he can be, Milwaukee could be a scary threat a little bit in the playoffs. When you got Burns Woodruff going at full strength, that's a pretty good 1-2 combo there. Could steal a series away from one of these top teams.
They got a hit, though, and they're just not. 185 this week. They scored 4 runs in the series at Dodger Stadium, and they hit just 233 against left-handed pitchers. Just not enough hitting to match up with this solid hitting Texas team, who did get shut out their last game. We talked about it the other night. We talked about it yesterday. Detmers comes into Texas, getting hammered. Texas crushes left-handed pitching, and obviously he's got a no-hitter going late in the game. Expect Texas to get back on track today. They're in a race with Houston. They got to get W's. They do not want to be the Mets from last year. Lead the way, give up the first place, and then wind up out in the first round in the wild card. I think the numbers right there. Look, the line makers did a phenomenal job today. Where the lines are right now. So far, we have only one bet, and we just talked about Diamondbacks would be our only other bet. Well, as we're doing the show, they've buried the Diamondbacks right now. This line now has dropped down to -1 to +145. So we'll be looking for that lineup to see if they got the Marte news, Marte Gurriel news. But all over the Diamondbacks, all over the Nats. Those were our two sides today. Other than that, this is a tough card.
Another interesting game here. Pirates at Minnesota. You have Jackson going here for Pittsburgh. In his first start this year, gave up 3 runs in 3 2/3. Lopez has been on a tear in August. 3-0, .47 ERA, 20 Ks, 1 walk. Those were all on the road. He is worse at home this season with a +4 ERA. We'll see if there's anything going there. As far as top pitchers in the league, you have Garrett Cole leading the league, 9 starts with going 6 innings or more, allowing 2 runs or less, and not getting a win. And then you have Pablo Lopez right behind him, who has 7 starts with that. So he's been a guy who's been giving you some great outings this year. And unless he's terrific, like he's been in August, 3-0, .47, is having a hard time getting some of that run support. We'll see how it happens here in the next home start. Pirates, they've lost 3 of 4, 3-6 their last 9. Then you have Twins coming off a loss to snap a 3-game win streak. We talk about it. They have been streaky since the All-Star break. They have not had sole losses and sole wins. The wins are coming in bunches. The losses are coming in bunches. We'll see if they're due for another loss here, if there's Lopez regression. Either way, really tough to go against Lopez, what he's doing here. I do lean to the Pirates pretty heavily, though. Just with you look at the home numbers, you look at what everything else there. Could be a slight lean here to Pittsburgh. Do you want to buck Lopez? Going to be thinking about that one today.
It's a big number, but it's a big number because Lopez is a buzzsaw right now. 3-0, 0.47 ERA, 20 Ks, 1 walk. That's a buzzsaw. Stay away from the buzzsaw. Yep, a little bit of an overlay. The number says Pirates to nobody. But again, I'll go with the nobody. I don't want to go into Lopez the way he's dominating right now.
Then White Sox take a trip to Coors Field. They're coming off that split series with the Cubbies. They have now lost 4 of 5. And then you have this Colorado team. They're ice cold right now, 1-7. Their last 8. They were putting up runs in that last series against the D-backs, scoring 6 runs per game. Kopech versus Lambert. Kopech only behind Snell with walks this season, 72 walks. Last time out, 4 Ks, 5 walks, gave up 4 runs and 4 1/3. Coors Field is the last place you want to be if you're putting up guys on base for free. Did have 2 starts versus the Rockies last year. Really solid, 2-0, 1.74. And Lambert, he's been roughed up in August, 0-3, 7.71 in 3 starts. Last time out was a quality start against the Dodgers. This is a Rockies or nobody spot. Price came up steep, though. Sharps bet it all the way down. Not much more value in Colorado anymore. Opening number, there was some value there. Can't back Kopech and Coors Field. Just walks too many guys. You don't want free guys on base there.
And the Sharps jumped on this early and often. Overnight line come up at -130. They've bet the Rockies -130 White Sox. They've bet the Rockies to a -115 favorite. Now that's at the right number. They absolutely buried this number. Again, Rockies, you guys know we're on the Rockies a lot at home. We blow another one when they took the lead against the Diamondbacks the other day. They just couldn't do it. We didn't get a chance to get the prime number, the +120. Once it went down to like a small plus, just wasn't enough value there. But, yeah, don't want Kopech. The White Sox coming off maybe that last series that they get up for, that crosstown rivalry with the Cubbies. Rockies are a bad team. Would I want to take them? This is the worst team in the National League against the third worst team in the American League with 2 garbage pitchers going. Give Kopech a little bit of a pitching edge, not enough to make them a favorite. I'll stay off this one. We'll look for better spots this weekend, Ben.
Yeah, guys, one bet out so far, like we mentioned. Still some pitchers we're waiting to be announced. A lot of lineup question marks we're waiting to figure out. Once we have those answers, our members will know. If you guys want those as well, sign up on howtobeatthebookie.com or download the How to Beat the Bookie app. Get all the information throughout the weekend. You guys know we aren't here then, and there likely will be bets added later on tonight. There is some NFL preseason going on this weekend for those of you guys betting that. Wish you guys the best of luck. You guys know we don't keep up with that. A few weeks away, though, from NFL, so not a better time to get on board. John, 2-0 Thursday, a little bit of up and down week, heading into the green, hopefully into this weekend. And like you said, tough card. Hopefully we get some more reads Saturday and Sunday.
And if we don't, we'll stick with what we got, and we live to fight another day. It's all about getting a plus at the end of the season. That's where we're headed. Let's make some money.